For decades, global trade was a force for peace and prosperity, binding nations together and lifting billions from poverty. But in 2025, that order is unraveling, not by tanks, but by tariffs, sanctions, and ultimatums. The US, once the system's architect, now wields economic power as a weapon, punishing allies and adversaries alike. The language of cooperation has been replaced by zero-sum competition, triggering a spiral of retaliation and distrust. Supply chains are fractured, recession looms, and the cost of everyday goods is rising for people everywhere. The world's economic fabric is being torn apart, thread by thread. The question, can we repair it before the damage is permanent? The US now uses tariffs as its primary foreign policy tool, invoking national security to justify sweeping duties. Tariffs on China soared to 145%, with a fragile truce barely holding. Allies like India, Mexico, and even Switzerland have been hit with punishing rates. The rationale shifts constantly, from trade imbalances to geopolitical demands, forcing nations to choose between US access and their own interests. This scattergun approach has turned trade into a battlefield, straining alliances and fueling global uncertainty. A pending Supreme Court case could upend the administration's strategy, but the economic damage is already done. Tariffs are now a first-strike weapon in a new era of great power rivalry. Tariffs may target foreign goods, but it's American families and businesses who pay the price. Inflation is surging. Groceries, clothing, and cars all cost more, with nearly $30 billion in duties collected in a single month. The poorest are hit hardest. Nearly 1 million more Americans could fall into poverty by next year. Businesses face higher costs and shrinking markets, as retaliatory tariffs and anti-American sentiment shut them out abroad. The promise of a manufacturing renaissance has faded. Instead, investment and jobs are evaporating. Tariffs have become a tax on Americans, fueling uncertainty and eroding competitiveness. The real cost of protectionism is being paid at home. Europe faces an impossible choice: side with the US and risk economic ruin, or defy Washington and jeopardize security ties. American demands for 100% tariffs on China and India threaten to plunge Europe into recession, as industries depend on both East and West. Energy costs are soaring, exports are collapsing, and leaders are paralyzed, caught between two giants. Europe's lack of unity and military strength leaves it vulnerable, forced to appease Washington while clinging to economic ties with China. Businesses suffer, investment stalls, and anxiety grows across the continent. Even satire, like Swatch's Tariff Watch, can't mask the grim reality. Europe's prosperity and unity now hang in the balance. America's tariff campaign has pushed China, India, and Russia closer, strengthening the BRICS bloc as a counterweight. Shared pressure has forged new cooperation: discounted Russian oil for India, energy security for China, and economic lifelines for Russia. Instead of isolating rivals, US policy has accelerated the creation of parallel systems in finance, trade, and technology. Grassroots backlash is growing. Chinese consumers boycott US brands, and patriotic spending replaces imports. The world is fragmenting into competing blocs, with BRICS courting the global south as an alternative to Western dominance. The harder Washington squeezes, the more unified its opponents become. The dream of a single global market is fading fast. The trade war's ripple effects are everywhere. American firms lose market share abroad, replaced by European and Asian competitors. Tourism drops as foreign visitors shun the US, hurting local economies. Retaliation goes beyond tariffs. Consumer boycotts in China and elsewhere cripple American brands. Nations shift supply chains away from the US, making losses permanent. The global economy is too complex for simple levers. Every action sparks unpredictable consequences. Protectionist strikes have become a grinding war of attrition, with collateral damage on all sides. The illusion of control has given way to chaos. Behind the headlines, it's ordinary people who suffer most. Workers, families, and small businesses worldwide. Tariffs fuel inflation, erode savings, and push millions toward poverty, while the promised benefits never materialize. Forcing allies into confrontation and isolating rivals only deepens global divisions. No one wins a trade war, some just lose more than others. The world's biggest challenges, climate, health, stability, demand cooperation, not conflict. It's time to step back, rebuild trust, and remember that prosperity is not a zero-sum game. Our collective future depends on finding a way to prosper together.